By the time you're watching this video, I will actually already be in China. So let's talk about how I got there. So yeah, if you saw the title of this video, it is true that I'm going back to China, and it is my 5th time visiting the country, which I think is quite nice considering it is actually my 5th wedding anniversary this month. It is my anniversary on the 25th of November. So it's just kind of a trip to explore China, visit my husband's family, visit places I've not been before, just kind of enjoy being back in China. And I haven't really talked about planning trips. I've just kind of shown once I'm there. So this time I wanted to show kind of like the full planning process before I actually go. So actually by the time you're watching this video, I will have landed. So I'm posting this video on the 9th of November and I am landing at 2 p.m. in China. So hopefully I'll be in China when you see this, if all goes well. I decided to split this video up into some separate parts. So I'm gonna start with talking about the route I'm taking, then how I planned it, and then I'm gonna give you a tour of my very well thought out itinerary book. Not too much, because obviously I haven't gone there yet, and I think giving out your entire holiday plan is generally considered bad online safety. And then I'm also going to give out kind of a list of things I'm doing differently this time compared to the previous 4 times. So let's begin. I'm going to start with talking about my travel route, and I'm going to tell you now, this is not a good route, okay? This is unfortunately a route we have to take because, you know, we're not going to stay in one city the entire time. I have places I want to visit. My husband obviously wants to visit his family. We want to try and experience a lot of different things in a short amount of time, just because we both work, unfortunately, and we could only get like so much time off. So we land in Beijing. I'm incredibly excited. This was my kind of like, I have to go to this city. Like this was my, this was basically my reason for wanting to go this time. So we land in Beijing. We only spend a couple of days there before we get a train to Xuchang. So Xuchang is a smaller city. It is in Henan province, and that is where my husband is originally from. It is somewhere I've been, I think, 3 times before, 2 or 3 times before, I think, if I had to remember off the top of my head, but it's quite nice. It's not like a very touristy area, obviously. It's not like a big city on like the scale of like Chinese cities, but it's nice. There's quite a few things I'd like to do there, such as get wedding pictures taken, which I'm most excited about. And then we're staying there for 5 days because that is where my husband's relatives are. So we go Beijing, Xuchang, and then we go to Zhengzhou, which is a city I have been every time I go to China. It is also in Henan province. The two are very close. So it's quite convenient, and it's a bigger city as well, so there's a lot more to do. So Beijing, Xuchang, Zhengzhou, and then we go to Kaifeng for 1 day. There's one very specific place I'd like to go in Kaifeng, and I will show you in a video later, no spoilers, but we literally go there for a day, back to Zhengzhou for a couple of days, and then we loop back to Beijing for the last 2 nights, and then we fly out of Beijing. It is unnecessarily complicated, but because of what we want to do, this is unfortunately the way it has to be done. So, while some of this stuff is actually quite helpful, useful information in this video, this travel plan, do not copy it. It is not a good plan. Now I wanted to talk about how I picked what I wanted to do. So, you don't need to know any Chinese for this, you just need to know the Chinese names for cities. And then you need to install RedNote. When there was issues with TikTok potentially being banned in America, everyone kind of popped over there and then they left again. When TikTok was not being banned, I've been on the app since I think 2021. It's good, I really like it. I find a lot of good stuff on there. I really enjoy it. Obviously, this is my account, by the way, for the curious. And I use this app to plan probably 90% of my trip. It's really helpful. So what I did is I'd search the city name. I'd just search the city name. And then I would spend ages just scrolling, seeing anything cool that I really wanted to do, and then just saved it in a folder for each city. I ended up with so many things, especially Beijing. Like, I had so many things I wanted to do. I just like list and list. And then I kind of cancelled out things that wouldn't make sense to do in a short amount of time. Or like something that was like totally out of the way and then like nothing was surrounding it. So it didn't make sense to kind of go that way for just one thing. Or, you know, like we're only in Kaifeng for like one day. So there's no point me doing something like here, and something over here, and something over here. Like, it just didn't make sense. So I narrowed down it to a list. So I went through my saved folders, made lists of what I wanted to do. And then what I got my husband to do was put everything on maps. Once everything was on a map, that's where the book comes in. Like I said, I'm not really gonna show everything in here because it is the entirety of our travel plan. It is very in-depth, but I will show you day one because obviously by the time you're watching this, it should have happened, hopefully. But this is how each page looks. So we start with the video that I was going to film because we're in there for a couple of days. I want to remember everything, so I have video planned here. That's obviously when our plane arrives, so we land around 2 something, almost 3. Oh, I'm missing out on so much. But this is the public transport route that we can take from the airport down here to where our hotel is and the area we're staying. I find it's good to have everything on the map just because obviously there might be issues with setting up data, setting up internet, whatever. It can be fixed, or like we can go into a shop, whatever. But once I land, I don't want to have to worry about, oh my gosh, like, you know, let me find a shop to go with like all our luggage, everything. No one wants to have to do that. It's a pain, it's annoying, so everything is printed digitally. Printed physically, not digitally, oh my gosh. And then, let me have a look at that. Move this out of the way. This is all the locations I want to go, and that is them listed there. Obviously this is all in Chinese because once we land in China, my brain gets turned off. I just walk around my little camera and my cute bags and outfits, and I take pictures and make videos. Okay, all this is my husband's doing. He did make this. I gave him the stuff I wanted to do. He put it together, so that's this is his work. So this is everywhere I want to go, and this is kind of the walking route. Travel order will be sorted by distance. Dinner will be arranged within the area. First day, try to focus on fighting jet lag. Not every spot is necessary to visit. A reminder for ourselves, really, because we're both very type A. If you believe in astrology and star signs and stuff, we are both Virgo. Like, we are also both the oldest children in our families. We are very kind of, you know, there's a plan, you stick to the plan. Every time we try and leave the house with his family and stuff, you know, we're like, oh, we leave at 10, me and him will be at the door for like 9:55, and we're like, okay, let's go. So we're very intense people when it comes to traveling, so sometimes reminders are necessary. And then, what do I have here? These post-it notes, obviously were added a bit later. But these are kind of like TikTok videos or short form content that I want to do because yes, I am annoying when it comes to traveling on social media. So every page kind of looks like this. It has video, locations, lists, like everything. And that is for the entire trip. Honestly, I wish the trip was longer and this book was like 3 times the size, but it isn't. Maybe if one day, 10 years down the line, we have all the time and the money in the world, I'll travel for like a year or something ridiculous like that. I love traveling in China, and you know, this is gonna be our shortest trip yet. So I am, well, obviously not my husband's shortest time or longest time. He is Chinese, so it's a little different for him. It's gonna be my shortest trip to China, and I don't know, I'm very upset about the length of time, but That's why I did this. I'm like, look, I want to make the most of it. And that very easily leads me into what we're doing differently this time around. This trip number 5, is the first one where my husband and I are just traveling, the two of us. This is obviously not the first time the two of us have traveled anywhere alone. Obviously, we have lived together in Australia for years and traveled alone there. We have done many things traveling wise alone, but it is the first time him and I are traveling in China without his parents. And I think it'll definitely change the way the trip is done. So previously when we've traveled, there's been a lot more downtime, both because of the length of time we've traveled and also just the way his family travel. They want to relax a bit more, which is totally fine. But, you know, they've lived in China their whole lives. They've spent a lot more time there. They've traveled a lot more around China, and I haven't. So every time we were just like, we had a whole day like at home, getting takeaway, doing not a lot, like wandering around, like went out to like the cinema, played badminton, whatever. Like the day itself was not bad, but in the back of my mind, I was like, I could be doing something else right now. I could be exploring, I could be visiting a temple, I could be visiting a museum, I could be wandering, like I could be doing something else that is going to be more meaningful for me as someone who's only able to stay in China for like a month at a time. This trip is definitely a lot more intense, kind of planning wise. However, I also have to remind myself, if things go wrong, they go wrong. Okay, if plans fall through, if we can't do this, we can't do that, it's not the end of the world. I'm just really excited to kind of have like full control over a trip, go where I want to, when I want to, eat what I want, do what I want. I'm very excited for that. So that is my entire trip to China. That's it. In these pages is my entire trip. It's not as long as I wish it was, but it's longer than it would be if I didn't go at all. So I'm really excited to go back. It has been 2.5 years almost, and I think about China a lot. I fell in love there. I became an adult. Like, it's a huge part of my life. So I'm very excited to go back, and I'm equally excited to be able to share it with you guys. So my next video is what I packed and prepared for my trip to China, and the video after that will be the first video in Beijing, where we are surviving after 14 hours of flying. So I hope you keep an eye out for that, and I can't wait to see you next week with a brand new video. Bye bye for now.